Okay, this is Unit 6, Lesson 2. Vocabulary review. A ratio is a comparison of two quantities by, who's got this one? Let's start over on this side.
What is the first step?
A ratio is, what is this one? Number 1. Got a guess? A ratio is a comparison of two quantities by. Amari, what do you think it is? Nope. Zainab, what do you think it is? Ben, you got an idea?
A colon.
No. Well, that is one way to write ratio. What do you think the answer is? When you see it, you're going to be like, okay, I was overthinking it. Are you ready for me to show it to you, or does somebody have a guess? Jose? Nope. Nicole?
By order?
Nope. All right, here it is. You overthunk it.
Oh, okay.
All right, are we good? Okay, write each ratio in simplest form. It has to stay as a ratio. Okay, a ratio it consists of two numbers. Okay, if you make it into one number, you don't have a ratio anymore. Okay, you're thinking of fractions. Okay, so I'm going to go back and restart.
Oh. I had 3 out of 5.
You have 3/5?
Yes.
Okay, or 3 to 5, yes. Now, how did you get 3 to 5? What'd you do?
So I divided each number by 3. And I divided each number by 5.
By 5, right. I can also expand this into their factors. 15 is 3 times 5, and 25 is 5 times 5, and these cancel out. Number 3. This is what a lot of you had questions about. So, Harrington, what do you got? It would be 3 to 1. Right? And how'd you get 3 to 1? Uh-huh. Okay. That's one way to think about it. Or you could have said 21 is 3 times 7, or 7 is 1 times 7. And in this case, my 7s cancel. Okay, we good? And so I get 3 times 1, 3, 1 times 1, 1. All right, who's got number 4 for me? We're going to go to Zainab now. 11/8, very good. And what did you divide both sides by? Or the numerator and the denominator by? 2, very good. So I have 22, which is 11 times 2, and 16 is 8 times 2. And these two factors cancel each other out. Number 5, who's got that one? Ben, in the back. 1/9. And what factor did you eliminate? Or divide by? 4, very good. So here we have the 4 is canceled. 1/9. Any questions? Okay, moving on. I'm going to read this since this is the first video I've made today. What you'll learn: to find unit rates and unit costs using proportional reasoning. New vocabulary: rate, unit cost. Why learn this? You make decisions about the foods you eat every day. Looking at rates such as grams of fat per serving can help you stay healthy. A rate is a ratio that compares two quantities measured in different units. There are 15 grams of fat in 5 servings of canned soup. The rate of grams of fat per serving is 15 grams of fat per, that's the fraction symbol or division, 5 servings. The rate for 1 unit of a given quantity is the unit rate. Know that. Okay? The rate for 1 unit of a given quantity is the unit rate. To find a unit rate, divide the first quantity by the second quantity. So, for a rate of 15 grams of fat per 5 servings, we have 5 servings, 15 grams of fat. The unit rate is 3 grams of fat per serving. 15 grams of fat divided by the number of servings gives us 3 grams of fat per 1 serving. That is the unit rate. Okay? The model shows that total fat divided by number of servings equals fat per serving. So in our case, 15 grams of fat divided by 5 servings equals 3 grams of fat per serving. Okay, now we're going to use this formula. So here's a formula. You need to solve this problem. Take a moment of your time, work this problem out. Now, all day long, kids have been messing up the decimal. Be careful. Okar. Thank you. Lopez, when you're ready, share with the class your answer. What'd you get? That's correct. So 15 times 10 is 150. That's too much. So when we worked this out earlier, 9, what was 9 times 15? What'd you get that for that?
135.
So 9 times 15 is 135. So we're going to subtract that. And what we get back, 2, 12. And do you guys remember what you do if you run out of numbers and you want to keep going? Do you guys remember this class? What's that called? Annex zeros. So we're going to annex our zeros. So I'm going to go ahead and put a decimal here and put a 0 over here. Remember to make sure to bring your decimal straight above. Okay, and then we're going to continue. I'm going to drop that 0 down. And then 15 goes into 120 how many times? 8. And 8 times 15 gives me back 120, correct? So I have 0. So my answer ends up being 9 8/10 grams of fat per serving. Okay? So let's go ahead and do the next problem. Find the unit rate for 210 heartbeats in 3 minutes. That's a pretty easy one. You should be able to do that one really quickly. Some of you guys probably can do this mentally. For the sake of review, because a number of students have been messing up the decimal place, I'm going to go ahead and work it out. Does somebody have the answer already, though? What do you have, Osmond? 70. So here's what we got. Total number of heartbeats. And then number of beats, number of minutes. We're going to divide that out. 3 goes into 2, it doesn't. 3 goes into 21 7 times. 7 times 3 is 21. Subtract, I got a 0. Bring my 0 down. 3 goes into 0 0 times. And then we have no remainder. Oops. So what we have is 70 beats per minute. Okay, any questions? All right, moving along. All right, so a unit rate that gives the cost per unit is a unit cost. Sometimes we see this in the grocery store. They give you the weight per pound, right? Because you might want more than a pound of something, right? And so when you go to the grocery store, you'll see that in the produce section, a lot of times they give you the unit rate, how much it is per pound or ounce, depending on what it is you're buying. Suppose a box of cereal weighs 8 ounces and has a unit cost of 31 cents per ounce or 31 hundredths of a dollar. So here's the model, and this comes up a couple times in the lesson, so I thought I'd go ahead and make sure I had the model to represent what was going on. So we have 8 ounces for the whole box of cereal. We know each ounce costs 31 cents. So the unit cost times the number of ounces equals the total cost. So really quickly, let's work this problem out. Go ahead and work this out really quickly. In case you didn't remember the formula, there's the formula. And Athila, when you're done multiplying this out, could you share with the class your answer? Mm-hmm.
2.48 ounces.
Nice. Okay, so I wanted to review with everybody. When you multiply, you ignore the decimal at first. In the end, you count the number of places there are in the numbers you're multiplying by. There's no decimal places moved for the 8, but there's 2 decimal places over for 31. So my final answer, I have to move my decimal over between the 2 and the 4. So my answer is here somewhere. Is $2.48. Okay. Now, same deal. Dog food. They're telling you the unit rate. You need to find the cost of a 20-pound bag. And India, when you're done, could you share your answer with the class?
I got 610.
610. Let's double check our work and see. So 35 cents or 35 hundredths times 20. Okay.
I just reversed it. I think that's what we did.
Okay. Are we good? Did you figure out where we went wrong? Okay, so I went ahead and showed this one step where I multiply the 0. Okay. And then before you multiply 2, you have to put your placeholder in. Okay, when we add that up, I get 700, but then I have to move my decimal over 2 places. Okay, so here is my formula. That was my answer. Okay, any questions about that? Are we good?
I just reversed the question though. supposed to put like 35 then 20?
The unit cost is 35 cents per pound, okay? If you buy 20 pounds and each pound is 35, you're gonna multiply. Now, if you multiply, the order shouldn't matter. If I had 20 times 35 hundredths of a dollar, it should still give me the same answer back. Is that what you did? You multiplied it this way? Times 20. That's how you multiplied it. That's fine, it'll still work. 5 times 0? 0. 5 times 5? 10. What would be 0 and then carry the 1 over would be 10. All right, now I have to put my placeholder in. Okay, so if I put my placeholder in, now I do 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay. I don't need to multiply that 0 out. I do have to add this up. 0, 0, 7. And then we see because we have 1, 2, that I have to move this over 1, 2. So $7. Okay? We're good? All right. Moving along. Here we have 2 shampoo bottles. Let me go ahead and enlarge this so you can see the graphic, okay? Okay. 2 sizes of shampoo bottles are shown. Which size is a better buy? Round to the nearest cent. Okay, so 16 ounces, $6.19. 13 and a half ounces, $3.99. Which is the better buy? First of all, let's set up a ratio. What would it be? How would I write this as a fraction? Anybody got a guess?
6 and 19 hundredths over 3 and 99 hundredths?
Nope. I'm going to show you the first one, and then we're going to work it out. There we go.
Oh, because added together, that's
Okay, this is the price for this bottle, and this is the price for this bottle. Okay, I just want to review really quickly with you long division. Okay, remember when we divide, I think everybody knows what to do when they see a fraction. If you're on top of the fraction, are you in the house or are you out of the house? In the house. But notice in this case, my bottom number that's going to be outside of the house is a decimal, and we can't just divide that as is. Do you guys remember that? So really quickly, let me go ahead and work this out. I have 13 5/10 out of the house, and I got 399, right? Now remember, the number outside the house has to be a whole number always, right? So before I can even divide this, I have to make an adjustment. My adjustment is to make this into a whole number. I move my decimal over 1. But if I move my decimal over 1, don't I also have to move my inside decimal over 1? Do you guys remember that? And make sure you bring that above. So go ahead and divide this out really quickly. Just some quick review for you. I'm not going to have you do both. I'm just going to work through both of them. I just want you to review this one example. Okay. Does 135 go into 3? No. Can 135 go into 39?
No.
No. How many times will 135 go into 399?
2.
Twice, right. So 2 times 135 is what? 270. Let's subtract that. 9 minus 0 is 9. 9 minus 7 is 2. 3 minus 1? 1. Okay. I got to do some things, right? Do you guys remember what we got to do? Annex zeros. So I'm going to go ahead and annex zeros. I'm going to put 2 zeros. You know why I'm putting 2 zeros there? Because if I'm rounding to the nearest cent, I got to go to the hundredths or the thousandths place, so I know what to round my nearest penny to. Do you guys understand? When I work this out, we'll review that, what I just said. Okay, so if I bring down my first 0, how many times will 135 go into 1,290? If I multiply 135 times 10, that's 1,350, so that's a little bit too much, right?
I think
9 times would be a good guess. So let's go ahead and try 9. What's 9 times 5?
45.
45, so I got a here, and then I'm going to carry my 4. What's 9 times 3?
27.
27 plus the 4? 31. Carry my 3. And then 9 times 1
9.
plus the 3?
12.
Okay, so when I subtract that, what do I get back? I got to borrow here, right? So this becomes a 10. This becomes an 8. Okay, so this becomes what? 5 and then a 7. And now I got to bring down that other 0. And then how many times will 135 go into 750? I heard 5 and I like that. So 5 times 5, 10, carry the 1. 5 times 3, 15, plus 1, 16, carry the other one. 5 times 5 times 1 is 5 plus the 1, 6. And we don't really need to continue with this because now I have all the place values that I need, right? So this off to the side over here. And then take a look. Here's what we got. That's what we calculated, right? Now, if I'm rounding to the nearest penny, what is that going to be?
Penny?
Yeah.
So 0, 0 and 2900.
No, that's not the nearest penny. Bokar, help her out. So if it's 5 and up, we have to round up. So what's it going to become? 30 cents per ounce, right? Okay. So let me go ahead. I'm going to shrink this down. And let me see if I can fit this over here. All right, so I have my other fraction. This is what it ends up being. Can you tell me what is that to the nearest penny? Somebody I haven't heard from yet. Nicole, I need to round that to the nearest penny. What's it going to be? 39 cents, right? Okay. So which is the better buy? The larger bottle or the smaller bottle? The smaller bottle, right? That's the better buy. Okay, yep, question.
Is it 135 times 5, is it 675? Not 660?
Did I mess it up?
Yes.
5 times 5 is, hold on a second, 75. So you're saying that this should be 5 times, 5 times 5 is 25, right? Carry the 2, and then 5 times 5, 15, 16, 17, right, 75. Thank you. Good catch. Let me see if I can fix this without messing it up. But in the end, it didn't change our result, right? Because we still got the same numbers? Okay. Yeah, you're right, that would have messed up, but I was more focused on the thousandths place. We need to know what the thousandths place is so we can round to the nearest hundredth of a dollar. Do you guys understand? So you'll see something like that in Connexus where let's say round to the nearest penny. I just want to prepare you for that. Okay? Question? Yes. If you take a look over here, I'm just going to walk you through this. Which bottle of apple juice is the better buy? 48 fluid ounces for $3.05 or 64 fluid ounces for $3.59? So I'm not going to have you divide this out because I'm not going to teach that today, dividing decimals. What I want you to understand is what is my ratio going to be? What's the fraction, that form of the ratio going to be? Can somebody tell me what my first fraction form of the ratio is going to be so we can get our unit rate? Rayhan.
So for the first one, I think will be $3.05 over 48.
Right. Okay. And who's got the second one? Teray?
$3.59 over 64.
Right. Okay. And so just because we don't have much time, I'm going to go ahead and show you what the result is. If you notice, I don't have you round to the nearest penny. Because do you see why? Sometimes you don't want to round to the nearest penny. Because if I round this first example to the nearest penny, what would it end up being? 6 cents per ounce, right? If I look at this next one, if I round that to the nearest penny, how much is that going to be? 6 cents per ounce. Are they equal, and are they going to be the same cost if I bought these? No, they're not. So sometimes it's useful to round to the nearest penny, and if Connexus or a quiz asks you to do that, yes, you do that. But in this instance, you're not going to because you're going to come up with the wrong answer. You're going to say they're the same. They're not. So in this case, the one that's the better buy is actually the larger amount, 64 fluid ounces of apple juice. That's the better buy. Okay. And to close, what makes a unit rate a unit cost? I try to emphasize this during the lesson. What makes a unit rate a unit cost? Miriam.
The rate for 1 unit of a given quantity.
Nice. It gives the cost of 1 unit. You guys, what's a unicycle? One wheel unit. Do you guys understand? Unicycle, 1 wheel. Just remember that. Okay. The unit rate is the cost of 1 unit of that item. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's set up our ratio in fraction form. Find the unit rate for each situation by filling the blanks. So if you look, it says it equals to 5 meters per second. So what is my ratio in fraction form going to look like? Can somebody help me out with this? Justin. 1,000 meters over 200 seconds, and that simplifies to 5 meters per second. Whenever you see per, that's really the same as saying division. So meters per second, or miles per hour, MPH, except for sometimes it's written M/H. Okay, do you guys understand? That's going to come up again. I want to just emphasize that now. Okay, so over here we see dollars per hour. So what is my ratio in fraction form going to be for this? Leah?
21 over 147.
Nope. It's saying dollars per hour. So dollars over hour. Okay. And then I'm just going to tell you what that is when you divide it.
7.
It's going to be $7. Okay, and who's got this one? Dominic? $89 over 5 hours. If you divide that out, it's $17.80. $17.80 per hour. Now, this one is the one that I was wanting you guys to pay close attention to. So, if you notice, we're going to use the same formula. Okay? But look at what the unknown is. Earlier we were solving for fat per serving, but that's not what we're solving right now. Okay? So, what we know is the number of servings is how many? 4.
Hello, CPA. Mrs. Bonner, can you please come to the front desk? Mrs. Bonner to the front desk. Thank you.
And we know what the number of fat per serving is. How much is that? How many grams of fat per serving? So we know the fat per serving. How much is it? 2. So we have this equation, right? Now, this is just a one-step equation. Can you set up the equation and solve it really quickly? It's a really easy equation to solve. Can somebody tell me what the equation is going to be? Goldis? Well, the answer is 8, but what's the equation? Give me any variable for what's unknown. Okay, so V over V what?
V over 4.
Okay, and then finish. It's an equation, so there should be an equal sign in there somewhere and something else.
Equal to.
There it is. I use F for fat. You could have used anything. You chose V. Now solve that. How do we solve this equation? What's going on with my variable? Go ahead.
Well, you have to multiply 4 by 2.
Right, so I have to multiply. See, with my variable F, F is being divided by 4. And remember, we have to undo divide by 4. So undo divide by 4, we have to multiply both sides by 4, right? So you're not just going to do one side. If you're only going to multiply by 2, you're not balancing your equation. What you need to do is multiply both sides. And what happens is these cancel, right? So you're left with F equals 8. You guys understand? Okay. All right.